Taking a slightly different route and looking at sort of say the actual individual sevens player.
Yeah.
One of the frustrations that sevens clubs have as a whole is 15 years ago we were able to attract the likes of Will Carling,
yes,
Jeremy Guscott. They were released from their clubs to be allowed to go and play sevens. Do you think, well, from my perspective, it would be very good if occasionally there were youth players who possibly could do with the extra fitness during the off-season were given the opportunity to be released? Having worked as a director of rugby, how would that sit with somebody like yourselves?
I think for me, if I'm really honest, it's an individual needs, it's an individual basis. I've seen it work positively with a Christian Wade. Tom Rees did a year with the sevens because we felt at the time the experience of touring, the skill set and the stuff that they would be training on a regular basis, you know, with the likes of Mike Friday at the time, was what was going to be a benefit to his game. You know, we had agreed, I think, that he played 6 tournaments that season. You know, we had similar with Liam Messon, a guy called Dwayne Sweeney played a lot for New Zealand. You know, was a fringe type player. I think it's very much an individual basis. You know, I would also argue that maybe Liam Messon played a year of sevens too long, and maybe he could have been an all. So there's all these arguments, and a lot of it's all opinion, and a lot of it depends on who the provincial coach is, who the club coach is. Do they see a benefit for that guys, and what's the long-term aim? You know, and if it's for Christian Wade, it's sort of sitting there and saying, right, is he going to be our seven specialist, or is he going to be a winger for England at the next World Cup? He's in England for winger. If he's a winger for England at the next World Cup, can sevens be part of that development path? And in some cases it's yes. Every now and then you might go, actually he'll benefit from a pre-season in the gym, or he'll benefit for a pre-season overseas playing 15s. So I'm a little bit more, I think, open-minded about those development paths. You know, coming from probably a generation in New Zealand where I saw a lot of players say come to the UK and benefit, going to France and benefit from those experiences. So sevens can be another strand of that. I think in general, I think, you know, there are more guys being released, and I think, you know, like I said, there was more support, I think, of the JP Morgan sevens this year. You know, when you look at some of that talent, and I know, you know, and even the Middlesex, some of that young talent, you know, that's coming through, it's fantastic to see those guys. You know, I remember that, you know, the Mark Jennings, Will Addisons up at Sale, sort of made their mark in that sevens tournament and have kicked on. So I think there is some of it happening, but it is, I think, again, it comes back to an individual needs.